visionary, revolutionary. I'm a visionary, revolutionary.
Thank you everyone for tuning in to another episode of this newscast. I am Camille Salamander, and I'm here with my co-host, KB the Mark.
Cause I'm a fucking mark for this shit.
And I told you guys once when SmackDown and Rampage views get released, we will do a newscast episode. So we went ahead and scoop up some more news so it could be worth your while for clicking on today's video. So I'm gonna start with the ratings. SmackDown and Rampage ratings are in. We're gonna start with SmackDown. SmackDown had averaged the rating of 2.18 million viewers on Fox, which is up for the 2.147 million viewers it did a week ago. Now, the 18 to 49 demographics had did a 0.49 rating, which is down from the 0.58 rating it did a week ago. But Rampage has also, Rampage has seen an all-time low in its normal spot. Rampage had drew in 425,000 viewers and a 0.14 rating in the 18 to 49 demographics. Last week, it did a 398,000 viewers and a 0.13 rating in a 11:30 slot. So even though last week the viewers went up, but at that normal time slot at 10 o'clock, this is the lowest viewers they ever brought in. Is this a bad thing for Rampage? It seemed like Rampage at 10 o'clock for an hour on Friday night is not working out for them.
Nah, it's okay. It was going against some stiff competition. NBA and March Madness was going on as well. I mean, it's hard to beat March Madness. There isn't too many things on television that's going to beat March Madness, especially when you have it on CBS, TBS, TNT, True TV.
But an honest question: what honestly is AEW benefiting from airing an hour wrestling show? They're not really pulling that many viewers. They barely bring in 500,000. What is honestly like the benefit from that?
I think there's great benefit. A lot of people complain about Monday Night Raw. They hate watching wrestling for 3 hours. I'm one of them. The problem with SmackDown is it's not good for the 2 hours. Dynamite can be put in the same category.
I would say SmackDown is SmackDown, even though it's not good for that 2 hour, that first hour is very entertaining to make you stick around for that second hour.
I would say that when Roman Reigns is on the show, it's must see. But as we've seen with Roman Reigns not on the show, it's not worth watching. So when Roman Reigns is on there, then that's fine. But SmackDown is a hard two hour watch. I mean, me and you were just on here last week just talking about SmackDown and just how atrocious it was with the booking decisions and everything else.
It did, like, it started off good. In the middle it was iffy. Then the Pat McAfee segment, it was their promo segments that was actually good. The wrestling I didn't really care for. Like the beginning with Brock and Roman with the forklift and Pat McAfee, and then at the end with the Charlotte and Ronda confrontation, that what made a show. But for a wrestling show, I think a wrestling show has to be minimum 2 hours. That hour shit, I don't think is really benefiting them at all. And to tell you the truth, I mean, if you gon' air wrestling that late, why air for an hour? Like it kind of remind me of like when they would show reruns of like Ring of Honor and shit. You would catch Ring of Honor on like 3 a.m. and shit like that. But you could tell it's already pre-taped, and it's like they really just showing out the highlights of that episode and shit. That's what this kind of remind me. I don't want, like me, I can't watch wrestling for no hour. Like I feel like if it's not gonna be longer than an hour, it's not worth my time. That's why I don't really find myself tuning in to Rampage unless they give us a match like a fucking Bryan Danielson versus somebody, or how they be hyping up like a certain star to be on that week episode. But just tune in week after week. I can't do it for an hour.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but then when you have that mentality, you miss out on the great matches like Ricky Stark, Swerve Strickland, the numerous Jay Cargill matches that she's had on there.
Nah, I watched those.
I'm not saying
after her match was over, I clicked off.
But see,
I'm a real Jay fan.
I mean, I feel you, but see, that's the problem though. Like, just because you don't like it, that doesn't mean you just got to stop giving it a chance. You know,
they should turn Rampage to be like their like press conference shit, like they should call it Media Rampage, and then it would be like an hour of, you got your reporters and shit coming out asking the wrestlers and stuff. You got certain people sitting at the podium, so you'll have your champions and shit, and then of course like people who's in top feuds there, at least one of them and shit, asking them questions and shit for at least like 30 minutes. Then after the last 30, you rotate to the other opponents or whatever to boost storylines more. That I think that'd be interesting, because Japan, they do it after every match. You got a press conference. They treat it like an actual sport. So why not AEW entwine something different, totally different, that really would separate them from WWE? I like the aspect of a press conference. It helps builds up further line any feuds and shit too.
But Rampage already does that, and then the feuds that you really don't see on Dynamite, you get to see on Rampage. And in a way, Rampage is its own show. It just gets a lead in from Dynamite, kind of, a 2-day lead, but they further a lot of storylines on Rampage as well. And they start a lot of storylines on Rampage. I mean, one of the best ones we've seen in AEW was Eddie Kingston CM Punk, and that all started with a Bryan Danielson Eddie Kingston match on Rampage.
Moving on to the next story, we got Vince McMahon. He announced that Seth Rollins is indeed going to be involved in WrestleMania. Now, there was footage posted Seth Rollins' visit to the headquarters of WWE in Stamford, Connecticut. Now, Seth Rollins here walked into Vince McMahon's office and asked if he will be fined, suspended, banned for Raw, or fired. Vince McMahon said that he didn't ask Rollins to be in his office to fire him, and that he was surprised that Rollins didn't win his way into WrestleMania. Now, McMahon said that Rollins should have just asked instead of jumping through so many hoops this year to get on WrestleMania. Now, basically, McMahon said that Rollins will have his own main event and that he is going to be on WrestleMania. He didn't say who Rollins is going to be facing, but we don't know until he gets to the ring. Now, it's previously reported that Dave Meltzer said that WWE is likely to hold off on Cody Rhodes' return until WrestleMania. Now, I'm thinking it could be one or two things. It could be one thing that, they go ahead and do the match, but Cody Rhodes is in the office. I mean, not Cody Rhodes, but Seth Rollins in the ring waiting for his opponent to come out, and then boom, they do Cody Rhodes and just give it to us like that. Or it could be a thing of Vince McMahon basically is making Seth Rollins to be the special guest referee of Pat McAfee and Austin Theory match, and basically if Austin Theory wins, you get your WrestleMania match. That's the deal they have, some shit.
I like that. I actually like that more than just what we all know it's going to be. We all know it's going to be the first one.
Yeah.
We all know.
But it could be both, and like if they do it right, it could be both into one. That's why you get Pat McAfee to get screwed out without using Vince McMahon. They say he's going to be involved into that match one way or another. This is an involvement. You put Seth Rollins there to make sure Austin Theory come out with that win. You want your match, you gonna make sure he win. And then his match gonna happen later on that night.
Nah, just give me Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Hold on, before we move on, Why the fuck was Seth Rollins there at 6:45 a.m.?
I swear he said. Did he say like 9 in the morning sharp?
Yeah, he said like 9 a.m., but he
Right,
got there at 6:45.
Because he did come in there asking like, "Hey, am I getting fined, banned for Raw, or being fired or something?" He's probably so anxious, couldn't really sleep. So he got there early, like shit.
I mean, first off,
Make a good impression. You know, I was here early, so hopefully you don't fire me.
First off, Seth Rollins is disrespectful. Did you see him put his feet back on Vince's desk when Vince told him no? He jumped on this man's whole desk. I'm surprised he didn't erase him from the roster.
It's Seth freaking Rollins.
And that's Vincent Kennedy McMahon. His boss. His wife's boss.
Seth is the same person who just walked in to Vince McMahon's office and just got handed a WrestleMania match. And Vince told him, you didn't have to jump through so many hoops. You just had to ask. If that was anybody else, they would have had to jump through hula hoops to even earn a slot. The Finn Balor and Ricochet don't even have a match yet. And they champions.
But they're not Seth Rollins either.
Right. That's why Seth Rollins could come in there and put his feet on his desk.
All I'm saying is this, and we can move on. If I was Vince McMahon and the minute he jumped on my desk, I'd have fired Becky Lynch in front of him.
Damn.
And I'd have, make an example and make him show up to WrestleMania to wrestle still.
That's funny. But moving on to the next story, we got a new match is announced for WrestleMania 38, as if they need any more matches. WrestleMania 38 is added on a new match. It's a tag team match with King Woods, Kofi Kingston versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland, as if we still need to see him in the ring. Now, original plans was for it to be the New Day reuniting in the ring at WrestleMania in over 6 years, and facing the whole trio of Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch, formerly known as Pete Dunne. That was the original plan, but due to Big E neck injury, shit had to change. So let me ask you this question: what day do you think this match is going to be on? Night 1 or 2?
Hopefully it's just on night 1 so we can get it over with, because at this point the New Day without Big E is kind of depressing.
Okay, so you're right, it is on night 1, but where do you think it lies on that card? Do you remember the card, or do you want me to tell you again?
I would switch place, whatever match it's going to be, I would switch it with Happy Corbin and Drew McIntyre, so I would have this match open.
Okay, you're right, because apparently it's supposed to open, and then after this we're supposed to get the Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin match, and then so forth and so forth, everything in order. Now, where do you think the Seth Rollins match lies?
On night 2.
Okay. Where do you go?
I would have it as the co-main event.
You think? Well, unless stuff changes again, this is officially opening night 2.
It's opening night 2?
Yes. So it's a possibility we can open up with a Cody Rhodes. They gonna screw the fuck out of us. You know that, right?
No,
if they open with this, they screwing us. He's gonna enter the ring, and it's gonna be like a returning Bobby Lashley that's gonna face him, and not who we think.
It's already been booked for Seth Rollins.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like Seth Rollins we all gonna think Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, but it's not gonna be Cody Rhodes. It's gonna be Bobby Lashley, and they gonna fuck around to save Cody Rhodes for Raw. I'm telling you, it says they opening with Seth on night 2. They gonna screw us.
No, Omos has to slay his greatest challenge yet.
That match ain't on there.
It's on there.
So far, they ain't announced it.
Listen, the Almighty will make his triumphant return to Monday Night Raw to challenge Omos, in which Bobby Lashley will lose in under 5 minutes because Omos is too big. He's going to no sell the Almighty Spear. And because Omos is too fucking tall, Bobby Lashley will not be able to put in the hurt lock. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
I'm aiming for WWE screwing us over. But moving on to the next story, Peacock is set to air a new documentary about the Royal Rumble this week. It's gonna be a new installment of WWE 24, and it's supposed to cover this year Royal Rumble that took place in St. Louis, Missouri. So you really know this 24 is really gonna be heavily focused on, of course, the Brock Lesnar shit, Randy Orton because it's hometown, and possibly we probably get some backstage footage and drama of what happened of the mix-up with Shane McMahon, because I heard that his music hit early. It was actually supposed to be Randy Orton coming out at 27, and he was supposed to come out at 28, I believe, but he told Shane that he's not coming out till it comes to money, so Shane was forced to go out there, which is why he kind of looked like he was in a hurry. But that should be a fun documentary to look forward to. It's scheduled to air after the Hall of Fame induction ceremony at 11 o'clock.
I couldn't care less. Ring of Honor Supercard is on, and we're getting Willow versus Mercedes Martinez for the interim Ring of Honor Championship. Ring of Honor Women's Championship.
Okay. Well, moving on to our next story. Now, me and you, we've been talking about this all morning. And we were saying that we don't know if it's actually confirmed yet, but it's official. The Steiner brothers will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year. Now, I know you were saying that you don't think not Rick Steiner, but Scott Steiner is gonna appear because all of the stuff that he has said about WWE, but it's appearing that he's gonna show up. And they both is going to be there. And I do have to correct myself. I have realized this whole time I be calling Brian Breaker Scott Steiner's son, that's his nephew. I apologize for that. But what do you think about this news about the Steiner brothers being inducted into the Hall of Fame?
I mean, I'm happy for it, but the bigger question is, are they going to give Scott Steiner a live mic?
Probably not. I mean, they probably just, I think they should set up. I think Brian Breaker should induct the Steiners into the Hall of Fame, and after he say his speech, the Steiners don't get no speech. After Brian Breaker get done doing what he's doing, you have Dolph Ziggler sneak on stage somehow, super kick, and that further the feud and Stand and Deliver to bring in as many viewers you possibly can. Or you do that, or you could do after their speech, or in the middle of their speech, like he's sitting on stage with them in the middle of, Rick Steiner saying they acceptance speech. You have Dolph Ziggler hit Brian with a super kick, and then the Steiners chase him off stage, just to further their feud for Stand and Deliver. You want to bring in as many viewers.
Salamander, this is a Hall of Fame induction ceremony, not a go home show for NXT 2.0.
Would you rather do that, or would you rather get Scott Steiner take a chance with Scott Steiner with a live mic?
Braun Breaker should put him in, like you said, and they shouldn't get no speech.
Or that, but it's WWE at the same time too. They're the ones that took a hint. It's supposed to be a WWE and a Hall of Fame ceremony. Instead of enjoying being inducted and just enjoying the old times, they took a hit at AEW when they saw the chance with Bully Gunn. Same thing. Same ceremony with Triple H had a water gun they was just spraying everybody with. I mean, it's you there to have fun. I mean, WWE don't put it past WWE to continue a story there. And people already don't tune in to the Hall of Fame speeches, so why not do some shit to make people be like, damn, I missed it, alright, and make people want to tune in more for the next years, because it gonna give the impression of anything can happen. It's gonna help sell both. It's gonna help sell NXT Stand and Deliver, and it's gonna help sell the ceremony speeches.
Salamander, that's what they have a go home.
That is true, but it's WWE. Like I said before, don't put nothing past WWE. WWE would do. They pretty much showed us they was pretty much do anything. But moving on to the next story. Now, this is the latest on when we will see Cody Rhodes on WWE TV. Now, on Monday Night Raw, it has rebranded itself as WrestleMania Raw, and the show is stacked as they start the final push for WrestleMania. Now, there's a lot of speculations that Cody Rhodes might appear tonight to set up his match with Seth Rollins, but as of a week ago, WWE have no plans for him to appear on Raw before this weekend. Now, according to the Wrestlers Over Radio, Dave Meltzer, he says that while anything is possible within the company, this was made a week ago that things can always change. But a week ago, the talk was definitely that Cody doesn't show up until WrestleMania. Now, what do you think happens today? Do you think he show up to set up, or do you think they're really gonna hold him off to Mania, or do you think they swerve us and we get him the Raw after Mania?
If WWE were smart and they really wanted to sell it, I would debut him in some capacity, promo package, video package, something tonight. I think they'll hold off to WrestleMania though.
Okay. Now, moving on to the last story of the day. We got WWE. They have a working plan for The Rock to have a match at WrestleMania 39. Now, WWE is hyping this year's WrestleMania as the biggest match of all time. They are working as next year's WrestleMania is one of WrestleMania's biggest marquee matchups in a lifetime. For the last couple of years, this has been a lot of talk about Roman Reigns versus The Rock, and this will most likely be The Rock's final match as well. Now, for this match to happen, The Rock will have to clear his schedule for his movies, and in addition, it will have to work around the XFL schedule as it plans to relaunch in next spring. So, do you think there's a chance that they can actually do this? Because The Rock has expressed that he do want to come back, and he is not totally finished with wrestling. But do you think there's a chance that, The Rock can make a comeback? He would be set to work a full-fledged program with Roman about time WrestleMania come next year.
I think so, and I don't think it's that hard. You could literally do the bare minimum. You tease it now. You keep him off TV. Still have Roman on this godlike run. The Rock, we don't confirm him for the Royal Rumble. He comes in 30th, so it's only one other person left in the ring. When that number 30 hits, you hear his music, boom. He comes in, throws out number 30 in about 2 minutes, boom. Now you got him for the Royal Rumble. Then you could just do the same thing you pretty much did when he was in his feud with John Cena the first go. He come in every so often. Roman and Paul are still going to be able to carry it. You can still throw your little C pay-per-view feuds in there for Roman, so he's still looking good. And then that month leading up to WrestleMania, you just build up The Rock as the only person in WWE history with the resume with the resume to slay Roman Reigns. Not to mention The Rock was the head of the Anoa'i family when he was doing it. To be overtaken by Roman Reigns. Now Roman Reigns looks to become the true head of the table.
Right. Okay. Well, you heard it here, guys. That's it for this newscast. Go ahead and let us know in the comment section below what you think about today's news. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter will be in the description below, or it will pop up here on the video. Go ahead and just leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Support us on all platforms that we have, and that's it. I'm Kimberly Salamander. It's KB the Mark. We love sports entertainment.
Started with nothing and came out a king.
Came out a king, yeah.
I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings.
I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings.
It's been me and my team and we chasing the green.
Me and the team and we chasing the green.
My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.
I'm ballin' for free, yeah.
My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.